Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's take on the fabulous furry Freak Brothers, is what they're actually called. They're just calling it the Freak Brothers on Tubi, a Tubi original, which I watched the first episode. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 8. Also, check out the link to my cousin's GoFundMe page if you'd like to donate. Him and his son need to pay for kidney operation. Not a hard sell, but if you want to throw me some bucks, throw it to them instead. Thanks. All right. This is the fabulous furry Freak Brothers, as they were called in the comics. It was one of these 60s subversive comics, very popular back in the day. Had kind of an R. Crumb style. That style is being pretty well repeated here, I think. The voices, guess the voices. First up, John Goodman, Pete Davidson, and Woody Harrelson, who's totally, Woody, yes, absolutely Woody Harrelson. And Tiffany Haddish does the voice of their cat. So, now I was wary when this first was announced that what the heck are they going to do? Are they going to go back to the 60s? Because that's where these guys live. They're hippies. So, oh, look, they got Adam Devine's in it too. And Blake Anderson. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. Those are the guys from Workaholics, in case you don't remember their names. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this is the ultimate stoner cartoon comedy. And it's great. It's great. They don't take any prisoners so far. I hope they do the same thing to everybody on every side of the aisle. But the premise of this is a very Freak Brothers premise, which is they're in 1969 here, and they do some stuff in 1969, and they find out a guru has this special sauce to put on weed that is like the ultimate high. So they gotta have it, because they're just, that's all they do is smoke pot. So they track it down. There's a bunch of hijinks, them tracking it down, and they finally get it, and they all pass out for 50 years. 50 years later, they wake up in the same basement, and now it's 2020, and they have to deal with the modern age. So it seems to be satirizing the modern age. It seems to be on point with the characters. Pete Davidson is basically the full-blown revolutionary communist. John Goodman just wants to eat. Woody Harrelson just wants to bang all the girls, and they all want to get high. So, and Tiffany Haddish is, there to add her sassy black voice. It's great. I watched the first episode. It was hilarious. It really is. They make fun of this family. I thought it was pretty good. Now, I just watched a short they did to promote it, which was very political, but funny. It was a send-up of Trump, and but it was done in fabulous furry Freak Brothers style, which was they realized they're in 2020, and they realized that they've changed the recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they actually used the name Kentucky Fried Chicken, which was great. So they decide they want to get the original recipe, and they see Trump on TV bragging that he still has it, so they go to the White House to get it. And then they they just get some general's uniforms, and they break in there, and they confront Trump, and they have a big fight with him, and then eventually they get him to smoke pot, and eventually they steal the chicken. Trump starts like World War III, but they eat the chicken on top of the White House. That's the kind of craziness that was in the comic. It's fun. It's just fun. It's just fun. So I didn't mind that they were making fun of Trump. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. As long as you're going to make fun of, and there was a little stuff in it about the Democrats. Obviously, they're not going. At the end, they did this thing on the mask, which I was like, ugh. They told everybody to wear a mask. I don't know if they had to say that because it was on YouTube. It was made for YouTube. It was a short promo. But this is the family they're living with, because they had a montage in the pilot where they're in the basement and they keep destroying and rebuilding the house above them for 50 years, and this is the current family that lives above them. So the hot girl all the way on the right is an attorney for the homeless. So she's decided that she's going to take the Freak brothers in, and they're going to continue to live in the basement. So that's sort of the premise of the show. And then this is the angry wife who hates them, the wimpy husband, and the Gen Z daughter, I guess. So, I mean, it's on point. It's on point, and they're doing the bits from the Freak brothers. They really are. I mean, they're gross and vulgar, and they're just doing all their wild, crazy stuff. So it's no surprise to me that it has been renewed for a second season. It's on Tubi, which is free for now. They keep making stuff like this. It ain't going to be free forever, I'll tell you right now. Tubi's not too bad. For a free channel, you can't beat it. They got some movies on there that I would watch. They're not great. It's like old Netflix. Joan, how did you get this in your fur? It's like old Netflix stuff, when they just throw out movies that nobody wanted. Maybe they'll just keep giving them the movies that are politically incorrect, and they'll just keep playing them. But I didn't even recognize the voices. Woody Harrelson, almost I recognized. And then I didn't realize, I knew he was in the show, but I didn't think he did one of the main characters. I mean, that's 3 pretty big names to do this show. John Goodman, I didn't recognize at all. He's definitely doing a different voice. Pete Davidson, I didn't recognize. He's definitely doing a thing. So good on these guys. They're giving a good performance. You got good material. I mean, this is great stuff. It's not good. It's great. This is, the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers ran a long time in comics. It was a huge hit. Huge hit. So this is I got to say it is a good tribute to them. Other than that mask thing, which I was like, the Freak Brothers would have told you to stick that mask somewhere. But, other than that, it's totally on the mark for the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. I mean, it's crazy. It does. It seems to be making fun of the woke, at least in San Francisco. How could you not and do a comedy? So, yeah, watch this. So for the first episode, the breakdown goes: first act takes place in 1969. They get the weed. About halfway through the show, it's only a half hour long. About halfway through the show, they make their transition 50 years later, and then it's about them dealing with their new surroundings, and they're trying to reverse it and go back to 1969, which they're not going to be able to do. So they're basically stuck, and at the end of the episode, it sort of establishes the series. Now they're going to be living with this modern family, being obnoxious hippie trash, and they just have to deal with them. So hopefully, if it maintains its edge, this will be good. So I'm going to watch more of it. Hopefully, it'll continue to be good. And it's free. How can you beat it? How can you beat that price? Can't beat it. And that's it for me, Tony D, and Squirmy Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more based takes. And check out the kidney thing if you're feeling generous today. And that's it. See ya tomorrow.